This is Rayuka here, and today I am giving my thoughts on Mortal Kombat Combat Pack 2 or Chaos Reign reveal trailer, whatnot. Now, if you can't tell by the start of this, I had mixed feelings for Mortal Kombat 1 since its release. In fact, fun fact, I did not purchase Mortal Kombat 1. I spoiled it for myself, of course. My friends have told me the story, and I've seen some playthroughs, and I have a good gist of what happens in Mortal Kombat 1. I also see where the roster's heading, at least in the sense of Combat Pack 1, and there was a reason why I backed out of purchasing Mortal Kombat 1. It has a lot to do with a lot of different factors, and I'm not going to get into that because I'm just focusing mainly. I want to focus mainly on Combat Pack 2. But for those who are wondering, yes, I'm very up to date on the story and things like that. Though I just said I'm like all over the place with it, but whatever. I get where things are going with Mortal Kombat and why I haven't purchased Mortal Kombat 1 yet. Keyword yet. Because I'm trying to find a reason to buy this game because I haven't found one. So, Combat Pack 2 was revealed. Not released, revealed. And with the trailer for Chaos Range, which will be linked down below in the description, they show off a bunch of stuff. You know, they show the characters that are coming, that are going to be included. Obviously, there's going to be updates. Some surprises with that. And then the costumes. So, the Chaos Reign bundle, Reigns, will include obviously the new story chapter. Now, that was predictable. Obviously, it makes sense for them to add updates to the story. So, there's new story chapter coming. That has a lot to do with Havoc and basically the continuation of where the story left off in Mortal Kombat 1 currently. Then Combat Pack 2 will include Cyrex, Sector, Noob, Cybot. And then there's the guest characters. And this is where I'm seeing a lot of the controversy coming. But Ghostface, T1000, right? Or some will say T100, T1000. And Conan, the Barbarian Conan. And for those who are wondering, why is it Arnold? Because I could tell some people have no idea why Arnold is Conan. It's because back then, when Conan the Barbarian movie released, Arnold was Conan. It's an old film. Y'all should check it out if y'all haven't seen it. It's from way back in the day. But yeah, he's Conan. And after you watch that film, it will make a lot of sense. Like, oh, come full circle. But yeah, and those are the characters coming to Mortal Kombat Combat Pack 2. Now, I'll give my thoughts, at least a little bit of why I didn't get the game when it released before even giving my thoughts on this. And a lot of it had to do with just the DLC practices. The writing was on the wall with the last game. So for me, that's one of the main reasons why I backed out, outside of the censorship, because the community for Mortal Kombat seems to have blinders on, because you got the fandom, and some of the fans are just so hardcore for this game that they'll just ignore all the problems with it, and just as long as they get what they want, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm happy, I got Milena, I'm happy. But there's clearly a bunch of censorship happening in Mortal Kombat. And some people say, well, what you mean? There's fatalities. You can still rip someone in half and da-da. No, I mean, look at the character roster. We have male characters, some of which practically almost have nothing on. You look at the female side, whole nother story. And at that, a lot of females don't even look that attractive, even though it's a video game. But look, I'm going to keep it real. Sex sells. You have unattractive female characters, and that's going to just keep people away from the game too, as well. It's not just the gameplay by itself. You have to have a lot of different things going on. A lot of different gears have to function and move, to have it be a good game. And that also means having the characters look attractive to some extent. And yes, it's a fantasy game, it's not reality. So I don't see why that would be an issue. It's not real life, it's a game. So the characters should look some kind of way. I don't see why they wouldn't. But yeah, that out of many other little things like that. Given Mortal Kombat 1's story, that was another thing. My thoughts of the story for this game have it's like they're running out of ideas. How many times are you gonna reboot the story? I mean, you're going forward, but at the same time you're going backwards. It's like it's retelling the same thing. Like, oh, this could have been Armageddon. This could have been Deadly Alliance. This could have been Deception. Oh, what if we change this way? It's like, well, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Like, it's really time for something totally new. And there's a lot of revisiting, and I feel like it's hindering the going forward aspect. And Mortal Kombat was in that direction, sort of. When they introduced the combat kids like Takeda and Jackie and Cassie Cage, and now it's like there's backwards and forwards and then multi time stuff, and then the Titans now, and then each universe has like a shoulda, coulda, woulda moment where maybe if this character wouldn't turn, but this is how it would have been. So okay, if we're going with that direction, let's assume that Shao Kahn won Armageddon. What about that timeline? Where's the conclusion to that story? Like what continued onwards? Outside of Raiden somehow before getting his head smashed and reaching out to Raiden in Mortal Kombat and saying, "Hey, prevent this from happening," and obviously that didn't work out. There's just so many things, so many issues with the story. It's crazy. It's just plot hole behind plot hole. Don't fix it. If it's not broken, keep moving forward. Portal hopping, different timelines. This is the Liu Kang timeline. It's whatever. And I totally sidetracked off Kombat Pack 2, but I had to get that out my system because it's just there's things up with Mortal Kombat that's just being ignored, and a lot of it now is just roughly fandom. Now it's just like give the fans what they want, and that's a good thing. I mean, we're seeing it in what they're putting in Kombat Pack 2, and they're giving Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 new Cybot. That's great. You get the same with Sub-Zero. But it's like, how many times are you going to keep buying the same fucking costumes? A lot of these costumes, and I'm not referring to new Cybot here, but like, if you look at previous Mortal Kombat games that released, they literally did this. This is the same playbook. They literally gave you a classic costume that you had to pay for. It's like back to back to why are these classic costumes just not in the game by default at this point to unlock? Just repaying for classic costume over and over. Like when I see the movie, like the characters or the actors from the '95 movie being put as DLC costumes, I totally get that. I'm down for that. That makes sense to me. But seeing like these classic costumes like re-released over, like, oh my gosh, how many times have classic Scorpion got re-released? That costume, I lost count. Probably every game at this point had a classic Scorpion costume, the same as that one from Mortal Kombat 1. Maybe a few of them didn't get it, but it's usually in there somewhere. If it's not modded, if you're playing this on PC. Then Kombat Pack 1. You got Homelander, Omni-Man, and then the one dude from DC. Like, 3 guest characters that... And then we circle into Kombat Pack 2, and now I get why people are frustrated, because the argument is, well, we're getting a lot of guest characters, but we're not getting a lot of originals. And I just want to remind people, when this new story chapter comes out, there's going to be cameos. There's a good chance that there's going to be cameos also releasing alongside these new characters for Kombat Pack 2. Whoever they are, I don't know. It could be anybody at this point. But it's... I have to say, there is a lot of guest characters now. I mean, you got 3 in the first Kombat Pack. and 3 in Combat Pack 2. Altogether, that's 6. And then you have, 6 original characters. No, yeah, 6 originals and then 6 guest characters. That's a lot. That's too many damn guest characters. I mean, I get people want to see their favorite superhero or villain or whatever be in Mortal Kombat, but it's like, if that's going to be the case, just make a whole separate fighting game and make sense of like the horror characters, for instance. In Combat Pack 2, you got to do a Ghostface from Scream, right? So why don't you just make a horror-based fighting game where you just have Jason, Scream, Freddy, all these horror characters just face off, instead of just keep throwing them as guest characters? I'm gonna be honest with you, I feel having this much guest characters is a waste of a character slot. These characters aren't going to come back in future re-releases of these games unless they renew the licenses. That's another problem. That's another thing that's a problem with guest characters. You got to renew those licenses. And if those licenses aren't renewed, you're not seeing them again. They're gone forever and ever. So it's like... Combat Pack 2 is good and it's bad. I mean, the new story stuff, I'm curious to see where that's going to go. But as I said before, for me, I haven't brought Mortal Kombat. I haven't found a reason to want to buy this game. I'm probably going to hold off until there's a complete edition. Because and unless there's something that I really like that gets revealed for Combat Pack 2 that I'm like, something, I gotta pick this up, I can't see it right now. For me, the nostalgia aspect, which is what Mortal Kombat relied a lot on, it lost appeal to me. I mean, I've seen the classic costume DLC so outplayed at this point, it's like I don't care. Maybe if they added Liu Kang from the film, that may incentivize me to consider buying it. I don't know. I mean, it's like... You got female versions of Cyrex and Sector now. I'm like, that's okay, whatever. Why? Okay, another universe. That's gonna be the story. They're from another universe, and this was the outcome. And this is, at this point, expect female versions of all the characters and male versions of all the characters. Fuck it. I mean, if we're gonna run that, let's fucking do it that way. I mean, I just... Mortal Kombat doesn't make sense anymore. Like, the more I think about it, it just, to me, gets more frustrating. It's starting not to make any sense, and it's just no nice way to put it. And I can see why some of the fans are a bit frustrated, especially with the guest character part. Now, for me, I think it's cool to see Conan and the T-1000 and Ghostface in there, but at the same time, as I said before, I think it's a waste of a character slot. And why have so many guest characters? I mean, outside of money, because that's the only thing I can think of, just sales. But it's just not enough. It's like, it makes sense to release more OG characters or create a brand new character as a DLC. That also helps too, a new face. But this is becoming outplayed, in my opinion. Given there's gonna be people out there that are diehards, they're gonna be like, oh, I love this and I'm going to support it no matter what, and blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, who's this game being made for now? Given it does have a new story chapter. I got to give NetherRealm credit on that. It's nice to see that. Good, more to the story, because a lot of people play Mortal Kombat for the story, yes. It's not just the characters. Even though I know there's those people out there that only play fighting games for characters, I give two shits less for a story. Yeah, whatever. But most of the people buy Mortal Kombat based on, at least my circle, the people that I know, it's really for the story. So that's the only thing that caught my, outside of a few things that caught my attention. But is it enough to pull a guy like me to want to purchase it when it comes out? No. Because even though I spoiled the story for myself, not having the game, just watching playthroughs and knowing from other people, there's just not enough there. I just feel like the story doesn't make sense anymore. It's like, okay, Liu Kang, it's his timeline and his image, whatever. Things still went to shit. Again. Okay. And it seems like it's gonna continue in that route. Nothing's fixed. There's no new major crazy threat outside of Havoc, and he's from this realm and he's about to make shit happen. And then what happens after Havoc is dead? Oh well, now we have a Titan Shao Kahn from the Armageddon timeline, or is it Unaga? You know, it has to be something new going on. It's like it's just. It's not me hating on Mortal Kombat because this went into a rant, didn't give it my thoughts per se. But it's just that there's things. I see the series go. I see this series, if it keeps going in this direction, going downhill. I just do, and I don't think I'll be the only one at complaining about this at some point down the line. So that's just my thoughts. Kombat Pack 2, outside of all the shit I just said, Kombat Pack 2 does look good. It looks good. But it's not enough for me right now, myself, to be like, I want to get this. I haven't been convinced. I haven't been conveyed to want to buy this. Shit, I don't even have the game. I mean, I'm still not convinced. Homelander didn't sell me. It was cool to see him in there, but I could give two shits for the boys. I just that series is just all over the place. Ani-Man is cool to see from Invincible. I mean, it's great to see Ani-Man in there, but it's like, okay, and then you got John Cena's character as a DLC, which every time I see John Cena, I just think it's John Cena, just him wearing a costume. I don't see John Cena. I could care less for that character. It's just like a DC character at that. I mean, they might as well put Deathstroke. I don't even know why they bothered, honestly, with John Cena's character, outside of popularity. But then, fast forward to Kombat Pack 2, you got Ghostface. Ghostface will sell, for sure. Conan, anyone from that era will know who Conan is. Obviously, it's going to be interesting to see how he plays. I mean, I'll laugh if he plays similar to Tusk from Killer Instinct. Just saying. Then you have the T-1000. Because people have been wanting a fictional character, Chrome, and that's like a whole nother rant in itself. Because Chrome is not a real character in Mortal Kombat. It's a fictional character. It's fan-made. People want that character so bad. This is the closest you're going to get. It's T-1000. Unless NetherRealm decides to make a character like that, they're most likely going to rename it. But I highly doubt right now they're going to do something like that. And then it slipped my mind. Animalities or whatever. It will be free and update, of course, to all players. So I guess every single character is going to have, and I'm assuming this is going to include guest characters, are going to have some sort of animality. That's great, I guess. I'm curious to see what animal some of these characters are going to be. I'll watch a compilation video of it because I'm pretty sure there's going to be compilations of the animalities. If you can't tell, I'm not that excited, and I want to be excited. Don't get me wrong, I want to be excited for Kombat Pack 2, but I'm just not, because I'm just not. And maybe over time they'll NetherRealm will reveal something for Kombat Pack 2 that's like, oh my gosh, that'll make me want to like actually purchase Mortal Kombat 1. But right now I'm not pulled in. There's a lot to me. I'm not sold. It's great to see some of this stuff, but I'm just not sold. Especially on Sector and Cyrex. Like, okay, whatever. They're females now, and okay. And I'm guessing they're enemies. I mean, I don't know. Whatever timeline they're going with. The only one that looks interesting from the OG cast is Noob Saibot. It's just like I'm assuming this is like a different universe version of him, and he's like more crazier, and he's just doing crazy shit. Whatever. Anyways, those are my thoughts of Kombat Pack 2. I think if you're enjoying Mortal Kombat 1, this is automatically a no-brainer. You're most likely going to purchase it. But if you're like me on the fence, there's a good chance you're probably not going to. I know I'm not. I haven't been convinced yet to actually want to pick this up. I'm not sold. Maybe my mind will change later on, but right now I'm just not convinced. So yeah, those are my thoughts of it. Feel free to comment down below your thoughts. You disagree, agree, like, dislike, whatever. Anyways, if you're new to the channel, feel free to check out the content here, of course. And if you don't like what you see here, well, thanks for giving my channel a shot. Anyways, as always, this is Rayuka here saying thanks for watching. And until next time, everyone, sayonara.